Okay, imagine this for a second. A disease so devastating, it sounds like something from a dystopian film.
Right.
We're talking about Rinderpest, a cattle plague that just ripped through herds.
They called it the cattle plague for a reason. Incredibly deadly.
Like, how deadly are we talking?
They're talking mortality rates up to 90% in infected herds. 90%.
Wow, that's almost total wipeout. And this wasn't just some localized thing, right?
No, not at all. For centuries, this cast a huge shadow across Africa, Asia, Europe. It was this constant looming threat, especially for anyone whose life depended on cattle or buffalo.
Which was, I mean, vast numbers of people.
Exactly. We can't really grasp the scale today. Losing those animals wasn't just an economic loss, though it was huge. It meant millions dead, total collapse of food systems in some areas.
Famine.
Yes, widespread famine, economic ruin that could just shatter communities for years, generations even. If cattle were your tractor, your bank account, your milk source, Rinderpest could literally take everything.
That's a truly bleak picture. But, and this is the amazing part, we beat it.
We did. Humanity actually achieved something incredible.
Rinderpest was officially declared eradicated globally in 2011.
Think about that. Only 2 diseases ever completely eradicated by human effort. Smallpox.
And Rinderpest. That's it.
That's it. It's honestly one of the greatest public health and veterinary triumphs in history. A massive win for global cooperation.
A huge cause for celebration.
Right?
There's always a but, isn't there?
Well, sort of. Eradicated doesn't mean vanished without a trace.
Right. The actual virus material, RVCM, Rinderpest virus-containing material, it still exists.
Precisely. It's kept under, let's say, extremely secure conditions. Lock and key doesn't quite cover it.
In just a handful of places worldwide.
A very small, select number of high-security labs. The disease is gone from the wild, from livestock populations, but these samples are retained carefully.
Okay, so why keep it? If it's so dangerous, why not just destroy every last bit?
It sounds like the obvious thing to do, doesn't it? But the global consensus, led by organizations like WOAH, the World Organization for Animal Health, and the FAO.
The Food and Agriculture Organization.
Right. Their thinking was, and is, that holding on to these specific, well-documented samples is actually vital for our preparedness.
Preparedness for what? It's gone.
Well, what if something similar emerges? A related virus? Or, unlikely as it seems, what if an old, forgotten sample somehow reappears? Having the original material allows us to rapidly identify a threat, develop diagnostic tests, maybe even create vaccines if, worst case scenario, they were ever needed again.
Ah, okay. So it's like keeping blueprints of an old enemy weapon, just in case someone tries a similar trick.
That's a pretty good analogy, yeah. You need to understand your adversary, even a defeated one, to protect yourself in the future. It's insurance, it's research, it's vigilance.
Which brings us neatly to the big news, happening right now, June 17th, 2025.
Indeed. A really significant development for India.
India's ICAR National Institute of High Security Animal Diseases, NIHSAD in Bhopal. They've just achieved something major, haven't they?
They have. They've officially joined this very small, very elite global group of facilities trusted to hold this Rinderpest material.
An exclusive club guarding the ghost of a plague.
You could put it that way. It's a huge recognition of India's scientific capability and its commitment to global health security.
Okay, so that's what we're diving into today. We'll unpack the story of Rinderpest, why holding on to these remnants is so critical, what makes this lab in Bhopal so special, who else is in this guardian group, and importantly, why this matters to you, listening right now, whether you're near a farm or not.
It's a story that really links past victories with present-day responsibilities and future preparedness.
Let's start with NIHSAD then. What exactly have they been designated as?
They've been officially recognized as a Category A Rinderpest Holding Facility, or RHF.
Category A, that sounds top level.
It is. The announcement was made just recently, May 29th, 2025, at the WOAH General Session in Paris.
And Alga Upadhyay, India's Secretary for Animal Husbandry and Dairying, was there to receive the certificate.
Yes, representing India. It was clearly a proud moment, signifying this global validation of their standards.
So what does Category A mean? What makes a facility qualify for that?
It means meeting incredibly stringent international standards. We're talking top-tier biosafety, biosecurity, meticulous inventory management, knowing exactly where every sample is, and robust emergency plans.
Like Knox-level security, but for viruses.
That's not far off. Think biosafety level 3, BSL-3. This is serious containment.
Explain BSL-3 a bit. What does that involve?
Okay, so BSL-3 is designed for handling pathogens that can cause serious, potentially lethal disease, especially if inhaled. It involves things like specialized ventilation systems, filtering air in and out, negative air pressure so air flows into the lab, not out. Access is tightly controlled. There are double-door entry systems, strict protocols for protective gear, and everything, absolutely everything, is decontaminated before it leaves.
So really locking it down.
It's extremely tight control. NIHSAD has had this capability. It's been the national repository for these kinds of agents since 2012. But this RHF designation is a specific global stamp of approval for Rinderpest.
And they had to prove it, right? There was an inspection.
Oh, yes, a very rigorous one. In March 2025, international experts from WAH and FAO came to Bhopal.
What were they looking for?
Everything. They did a deep dive into the physical facility, the safety protocols, how they track the virus samples, their emergency response readiness, basically kicking the tires on the whole operation to ensure it meets that global gold standard.
And they passed.
They did. They got the Category A status initially for 1 year, with potential for renewal if they maintain those high standards.
And you said this puts NIHSAD in a very small group.
Incredibly small. With this designation, NIHSAD becomes one of only 6 Category A Rinderpest holding facilities in the entire world.
6. Worldwide. That's really exclusive.
It absolutely is. It underlines the level of trust and capability required.
Now, India's history with Rinderpest. They weren't just starting from scratch here, right? They were involved in the eradication effort itself.
Hugely involved. India's national vaccination campaigns were absolutely critical to wiping out Rinderpest, particularly across South Asia. Their surveillance networks were also key in proving definitively that the virus was gone from the region.
So they helped win the war, and now they're stepping up to guard the peace treaty, so to speak.
That's a good way to put it. This RHF status builds on that long history. It's a transition from fighting the disease to safeguarding the victory.
And getting this status, it wasn't quick. I heard they applied back in 2019.
That's right. It took 6 years. It involved preparations, maybe some upgrades, refining protocols, training, and then finally undergoing that intense international scrutiny. It was a long-term commitment. As Secretary Upadhyaya mentioned, it was viewed as a national responsibility, a readiness to contribute.
Okay, so let's connect this back. A high-security lab in Bhopal holding old virus samples. Why should someone listening, maybe in a city, maybe completely unconnected to farming, why should they care about this?
It's a fair question. The direct impact of Rinderpest is on cattle and buffalo, obviously. And in India, millions depend on these animals for their livelihoods, food, culture. So a reemergence would be catastrophic for rural communities first.
But the ripples would spread.
Absolutely. Think about the national food supply. Disruptions to meat and dairy production, transport, agriculture, that affects everyone. It could lead to food shortages, price hikes, your milk, your paneer could get more expensive. It becomes an economic issue, a food security issue for the whole country.
Okay, so direct impact on Indian life. But what about the bigger picture, globally?
This fits right into the One Health idea. You know, the concept that human health, animal health, and environmental health are all interlinked.
Right. What happens in one area affects the others.
Exactly. A major animal disease outbreak anywhere can threaten global food chains, destabilize economies, and sometimes these things can even jump to humans' zoonotic diseases. So, having secure facilities like NIHSAD drastically cuts the risk of an accidental release or misuse of something like Rinderpest. It protects not just India, but the global community. It's like a critical piece of our planetary insurance policy against biological threats.
And it says something about India's role on the world stage, too.
Definitely. Achieving this Category A status really highlights India's advanced capabilities in animal health and biosecurity. It puts NIHSAD and India right up there with the world's leading institutions in managing dangerous pathogens. It's not just about tech or pharma. It shows leadership in this crucial area of science and safety.
Especially now, right? With everything we've learned from COVID-19 and ongoing worries about things like bird flu.
Precisely. The world is, unfortunately, acutely aware of pandemic risks now. Facilities like NIHSAD are more important than ever. They're not just archives, they're centers of expertise. The knowledge gained from handling high-containment pathogens, the strict protocols, the trained staff that's invaluable for dealing with any high-risk biological threat, known or unknown. Being overprepared is essential.
So guarding these remnants of the past is really about building resilience for the future.
That's the core idea, constant vigilance.
Okay, looking forward then. Is Category A, the end of the road, or is there more? I heard something about Category B.
Yes, that's a potential next step. The WOAH committee actually encouraged India to look into working towards Category B status for NIHSAD as well.
What's the difference, A to B?
Okay, Category A, which they have now, is about secure containment and storage. Think of it as the ultimate secure vault. Category B adds another dimension, vaccine readiness.
Vaccine readiness.
Yeah. A Category B facility not only holds the virus material securely, but also maintains the necessary seed materials and has the proven capability and infrastructure to rapidly produce effective vaccines if Rinderpest were ever to reemerge.
Ah, okay. So Category A is the guard. Category B is the guard who also has the emergency response kit ready to go, including the cure.
Exactly. It's moving from pure containment to active response preparedness. Vault Keeper versus Vault Keeper plus first responder, maybe.
And given India's strength in vaccine manufacturing.
It seems like a very logical and potentially very valuable next step. India is a powerhouse in human vaccine production. Applying that expertise to animal health contingency planning, specifically for something like Rinderpest, would be a major contribution to global biosecurity. It would elevate NIHSAD's role even further.
So quite a journey from this devastating plague that shaped history.
To an elite lab in Bhopal playing a key role in ensuring it stays history.
It really connects the local farms, the communities in India, to the global stage in Paris, involving top-level science and international cooperation.
It does, and it highlights the quiet, often unseen work that goes into keeping our world safer, protecting food supplies, preventing future catastrophes.
We should probably give a nod to the actual people doing that work, right? The scientists, the staff at NIHSAD.
Absolutely. They're the unsung heroes in this, really. Their meticulous work, their dedication to these incredibly high standards, that's what makes this global safety net function.
It really makes you think, if guarding the remnants of just one disease we've already conquered, one of only two, requires this level of global effort, these ultra-secure labs, this constant painstaking work, what does that really tell us about the scale of vigilance needed against all the new threats, the ones we don't even know about yet, that are constantly emerging out there in the world?
It puts the challenge into perspective, doesn't it? This victory over Rinderpest was immense, a testament to collective action. But the ongoing effort to secure that victory shows that the fight for global health security, well, it never really ends. It just changes focus.